The following is for entertainment purposes only. We are not financial advisors. We are not responsible for any losses, only the profits.
Nation, it's Charlie. I'm going to be your host for today. How did everyone's day go? Did it go kind of crazy, kind of bad? It's kind of a down day, right? Overall market. Some stuff was still flying. A lot of SPACs are still holding. They're like, we don't care. Okay, we're just going to keep going. Okay. I think it's still a good time to slowly transition into a little bit safer investments right now. We're still riding that channel kind of up, but it's trying to hook back down, and it's kind of wobbly. So even if we get another big old thing going north, I still think it'd probably be smart to put a lot of your investments in these bottom floor SPACs that we talk about. Now, the one we're talking about today is a possible CleanSpark contender. I think this one totally can go toe-to-toe with them. I found some cool businesses and some matching businesses that might correlate with some of the management, stuff like that. I think this one is going to be huge. Whether it goes like the straight microgrid play of CleanSpark or it goes like straight windmill play, it's on that green energy thing. I think this is going to be the next big green one. And the other coolest thing about it is it's super cheap right now. Why? Because it's early and nobody's talking about it but Octonation, okay? So we got to get in now when it's still not cool. How much is it going for? Like, I don't know, $9.98 I think right now. It's low, which is basically like sitting at the floor. So even if the market tanks, it's probably going to stay right around where it's at, like darn close. You know, the coolest part about this too is if you saw my video, I don't know, 2 or 3 days ago, how the wealthy keep getting more wealthy and make money and get free stocks. How do they do it? They buy units, okay? And if they don't do it, their big hedge fundy people do it for them, okay? Their big money marketer guys do it for them. So that's what we're talking about here. This one is Northern Genesis. They are targeting businesses, practices who demonstrate clear alignment and sustainability principles and whose organizational cultural embraces the value of such alignment. We are confident that opportunities to provide improved business success based on strong ESG alignment exists across a broad range of industries and sectors. Targeted organizations see the value of considering environmental, social, governance factors in the development of its business strategies to both create opportunities and reduce risk. I like this play a lot. This is the one I was talking about that had a very good website too. Go check it out. So they had a couple of things in here you might want to know. There's $44.9 trillion in growth in global sustainable and ESG assets under the management in 2018. Here's a picture of CO2 with an X around it, or a cross, a no. 79% of Fortune 500 companies are committed to becoming carbon neutral by 2030. So reduction of CO2. Could be cars, could be a lot of things. 73% of Morningstar's ESG's indices outperform their non-ESG equivalencies. So what does that mean? Energy, if it's green, the stock's going to go up. Yeah, the stocks are going up 73% more if they're not. So you can get in coal and stuff still because it's super low, but you're better off just getting in the green stuff because it's outperforming everything else by 73%. It's big. This management team is absolutely flawless. These guys are awesome, right? Everyone's got their flaws, but you can't get a better team for an ESG focused, green focused, let's call it, SPAC whatsoever. Half the guys are Harvard grads, the rest are Ivy League grads from Canada. I mean, it's just crazy. Ian Robertson, he's the director and vice chair. He's a former CEO of Aliquin Power and Utilities. And this was something I knew I wanted to look up. I didn't have time in the previous video to look it up. And I did, and that's where I started this deep dive. I was like, dude, I got to do a separate video on this, and started connecting a bunch of stuff. So he's the co-founder of them. He was instrumental in growing Aliquin to an $11 billion power and utility infrastructure company, which is huge. Aliquin named most sustainable utility in the world. 30 years experience in origination and execution of energy and water infrastructure projects in North America and internationally. Degrees of Toronto, all that. So I looked up this Aliquin. What are they? They are power and utilities corporations. They got 50 plus power generation facilities and 20 plus utilities across North America. I like this because they own the facilities that are making them. So they're owning like the wind turbines or the solar power grids, be like whatever acres, 50 acres or something with solid wind turbines or solar or both. and then all the transformer stuff and all between, they will own that. But then they also own the utility company that sells them that power to the people. Yeah, so that's cool. I mean, you can get on a lot of different plays just with that alone. So our business from Eloquent Power Utilities Corp is a growing renewable energy and regulated utility company with assets all over the United States. Corporation acquires and operates green and clean energy assets, including hydroelectric, which is rad, like dams, wind, thermal, and solar power facilities, as well as sustainable utility disruption businesses. What is that? Water, electricity, natural gas. Through its two operating subsidiaries, Liberty Power Utilities. So Power owns a direct or indirect equity interest in more than 35 clean energy facilities, including what we just talked about. You can learn more about them there. The utilities provide water, electricity, and gas services to communities across just the United States. They're serving 750,000 customers in 12 states. They're unique among its peers for its commitment to the community conservation and customer service. They uphold the highest standards of service to meet day-to-day needs of customers and offer employees programs. So they're in Arkansas, California, Georgia, Iowa, a bunch of states, which is fantastic. So again, they're owning both sides of the spectrum. I love it. And they've got the whole water distribution and wastewater treatment. So they even do that. They can make money on water coming in, water coming out, and treating the water. So these are all different kind of plays. Try to keep your mind open with this, of different ways we can look at this. Water distribution, electricity distribution. This is what started getting me to think about CleanSpark, right? So electricity distribution operations in 6 states, approximately 250,000 people. Natural gas distribution, so they deal with that also. Other management. So now what we're going to get into is other businesses that they could easily be involved with that I think would pair up, like I was talking about with CleanSpark and everyone else. All right. So renewable energy infrastructure funds with the Carlyle Group is what one of the managers did. The fund invested globally in wind, solar, geothermal. I don't even know what that is. Does anyone know? Can you tell me down in the comments? Biomass. I don't know what that is either. Or biofuels like ethanol and biodiesel projects. So it could even go that way, like an alternative fuel thing or geothermal. I'm sure that's something coming from the earth. They have some sort of whatever energy from it. But the CEO, one of the guys was CEO of Beaumark Energy Limited, which is a wind energy developer. So it's a company that literally gets land and builds wind turbines, which is rad. So he was still a CEO of them, but now he's with these guys. So these are the CleanSpark plays that I have found. These are other companies that aren't public yet, but they basically kind of sound just like CleanSpark. You look at everything. They got the microgrid, they got the middle thing, the transformer, all that. They even, just like microgrid, they provide a lot of software stuff, but they also provide the equipment. So it's kind of that full spectrum, just like CleanSpark. First one is Alpha Structure Energy Solution, delivered by Schneider Electric, Carlyle Group, and Technology Partners. So they pair up with big utility and energy companies, and they are the middleman for them. So they're advisors, suppliers, they're efficient, optimization, that's the software side, and the capital. Cost savings, predictability, risk mitigation, infrastructure upgrades. So they will upgrade stuff for you. Resiliency, reliability, sustainability, efficiency, it's the same stuff. Advisory services, same thing, right? They'll come and advise your company on ways to save and preserve energy, ways to be more efficient, load optimizations, strategic capital, and contract structuring. If you guys don't know anything about CleanSpark, please go watch. I have a couple videos on CleanSpark. You'll learn a lot there. So these guys actually got in with a contract with Governor Cuomo and he announced there's a $13 billion plan to transform the JFK is an airport, into a world-class 21st century airport. So what is entailed with that $13 billion? A lot of it is going to the green energy. So he hired these people to handle the restructuring and all that of the airport. And I don't know that they have started. I didn't dig too deep into that, but the news when this first came out was 2 years ago. And all I could find was that they're still getting ready to do it. Because, once the stuff gets approved, it can usually take 2 years before they finally get the ground laid, and then they can go to work, something like that. So Still need to do a little research on that, but like something like that is huge, right? I mean, it's a massive contract with the JFK airport. If they do the JFK airport, they're going to get other airports to turn them all green and turn on, solar panels on all the roofs or whatever. There's so much money in that. Here's another one called Bloom Energy. Look at these nice battery pack looking things. So this reminds me of like the EOS play, the BMRG guys. These are like mobile battery power. So when a heat wave and summer storms triggered power outages in New York last summer, Home Depot stores used Bloom's energy fuel cell microgrids to stay open, and other retailers took note. Our technology is well suited for retail companies because we use natural gas infrastructure. So like this is rad, right? Which is a mesh network, and because our technology is on site, it's able to power through extreme weather, blizzards, typhoons, etc., providing electricity 24/7. The commercial strategy and customer experience at Bloom Energy Director. Compared to solar, Bloom's microgrid technology has a small footprint. That's important for big box stores that have little space in the parking lot and the roofs for microgrid technology. He said additionally, retailers also appreciate the cost predictability of Bloom's installations, he said, noting that Bloom provides this in 5 to 20-year contracts. In addition to retailers that can lose significant amounts of business during outages, Bloom is seeing a spike in interest from hospitals and healthcare sectors. Hospitals are required to have a diesel backup generator, but we've heard that the outages lasting longer than a fuel supply for these diesel generators. They're looking for alternatives for their setup, and diesels are bad for the environment. So like they're thinking, natural gas is great. I think these are rad looking too. They're clean, they're modern. You wouldn't mind having those sitting on your property where it doesn't look like a really bad eyesore. That carries some weight. It has to. Okay. People want to see some rinky-dink looking power box someone did for it. Speaking of power box, here's Box Power. Here's another one. These guys are a turnkey microgrid plus storage system and have been having a moment in the wake of the California utilities' recent public safety power shutoffs. Y'all in California, you heard that, right? After 2 weeks of outages and utility shutoffs, many businesses have had to shut their doors because of the cash flow issues or because they're lost inventory or critical time of the year, which makes a pre-engineering microgrid plus storage systems. So again, they're doing the microgrid plus the storage. They're handling the whole system, right? And dispatched and stored in shipping containers. So these guys are like, they'll put their stuff in shipping containers. More climate vulnerable companies no longer see small, medium-sized microgrids as a nice thing to have, but it's something they need. So these people have two microgrid solutions, one that relies solely on solar power and then one that uses natural gas. So like these guys, it could be a solar panel and a natural gas one that they can provide. Here's another one, Eaton, okay? There's still even more and more of these companies. We'll just read this. Most of, if not all, critical power facilities like hospitals, data centers need it. The ability for microgrid systems, functions, demand. We can look up more of this. They said electronic vehicles will become a significant driver of the microgrid industry, which I thought was really interesting. 2 to 4 years out, and they will need a place to charge. So these guys are even hitting on the electronic vehicle thing. We've even seen those two, like those mobile charging systems, like for, I think it was Plug. Was it Plug? Can't even remember. One of the companies we talked about, but they have like a mobile charging station where they set up solar panels. These guys are talking about that too. It could even go there. And this is this is a company, I was stalking these guys online, and one of them was talking about these guys not a long time ago, like last year or something. It was called Mullen Renewable Energy Specialist. So this is someone that they could bring to market too. So these guys put up and install like the windmills and stuff. So, that would even be a cool play. And of course, they also service them. So when they need servicing, they call up this Mullen Renewable Energy Specialist to come work on them and stuff too. So it's even another play. Okay. So like I said, they're still super cheap. Okay, the units, they're trading currently at $9.95. They only spiked up like $10.03 or something, But we're getting in ground floor here. They were only released, I don't know, not that long ago. I think maybe a month ago or something like that. So eventually they don't even have the commons or the warrants available yet, so you can only get these units. So you can't use Webull or any of the smaller ones. you can't use the Robinhood. You can't be a Robinhood bro 100% on this. You gotta, what I recommend is going to Fidelity, all right? Because Fidelity, they don't charge you to split your units up. So people like TD Ameritrade, you can buy these, but they're gonna charge you around $50-ish to split these units if you ever want to get your commons and your warrants separated. So what do you guys think? I think that this company is totally rock solid. I could go on for hours speculating on that, but I think that gives us a good kind of overall picture of where they could be going with this. Regardless, I think there's some big issues and cool categories we can get in. If you want to research more, you can always go to the site here. I have links to going out to the site and all that. You can research the management more. Have you guys heard about them? Are you already in it? Let me know down in the comments. Let's get to some charts. First off, I want to bring up PSTH. So what happened? The commons and the warrants finally became available today. And right out the gate, they launched at was it $8? And they went all the way down to $5.50, and then they've been kind of spiking ever since. They ended up settling around $6.25. I think that's a decent place to get in on these. This is still one of those first time for a SPAC super huge ones that we really don't know what we're dealing with here. And, depending on the target, if he actually gets someone rad, who knows? Did you guys get into PSTH? I had the units, I've had them for, I don't know, probably 52 days. And I didn't buy too big on them, but I'm going to hold them for a little bit and just kind of watch them, and we'll see. I'm not 100% excited about this because, he was talking about going, Bill Ackman, he was talking about going to the vacation rental company. And that's not a space I want to get in right away. I was like, I don't even want to be in this anymore. But they actually, sounded like they were bragging that they denied him. He came to us, but we told him no. And they said several others have come to us too. So I don't know. I'm kind of leery of who he's going to pick. I just hope it hypes like everyone else, right? Hope it's something cool. Here's one that I went in today for sure. This is the new Shill, SHLL, Helion. How do you say it? Ticker SNPR, the U.U. The units came available today at launch. And if you're not on my Twitter, make sure to get on there because when these hit, I send out an order and send it out to my Twitter folks and let them know, hey, you can buy them. So if you need those last minute updates, get on there. And anyways, anyone else get in these? I did. I bought pretty large on these. I'm doing some warrant arbitrage on these. Basically, that or I'll just keep them, and if they end up running up high, I might just sell off and wait for another dip or something. But regardless, with the track record of Helion and Shill, anyone in this semi-sector whatsoever knows directly about these people. So when these people come knocking on the door, it's going to carry a lot more weight because they can say, look what happened to our last SPAC. And the company's going to be like, yeah, we want that to happen to our company. So when these people be walking through the door, people are going to be wanting to sign up. So I have a feeling they're going to get something really rad. They're still kind of going after something green, something in the renewable energy kind of space. But, they only come with a quarter of a warrant. Where the one we were talking about before comes with a half a warrant. That's a lot when you start doing the math. So it comes with double the amount of warrants. So keep that in mind if you get in here. It's trading at $10.55 now. I think you're still probably going to be totally fine if you were to buy in next week around that area. Floor on this is probably around $10. So worst case scenario, you could maybe lose 5-10%. But regardless, I think it's going to be totally fine. It's going to end up being a rock star. So is anyone else on that? So Henny's, where are you at? So the Hennessy Capital today, HCAC, had a nice run. It just started knifing up, which is great. It actually tagged $12, real nice for us. Came back down, but I found another line for us that came back after the initial big run up here, and it's right at 11.49. And there was actually a gap, and then it was tagged 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times there, and then twice back here. But look where it ended today, and it actually hit it today also another time, so 3 times today. But guess where it ended? It ended right there. So what do I think is going to happen? I'm hoping that it just kind of consolidates and then starts running back up. I think so. Did anyone watch that webinar yesterday? I thought it was okay. All right, next one we're going to look at, let's take a look at KCAC. What is up with that? Well, it had that super duper spike. Super duper spike, man. This thing was awesome. The ride was ripping. I was blown away. I still am. Let's see if we can't wrap a tortilla around it. What do you think? It's going to be able to happen? I think it should go there. I think it should probably go there. You know, it looks like it pretty much broke the bull, right? That would look like. A little hot sauce coming out the back here. Oh, do we have a bull flag here? Oh, goodness sake, look at that. I think that looks pretty close. Maybe pull this back a little bit more. The good thing is, you know, we had this big massive gap up and we recrossed it, so eventually that usually has to happen, and now it's done, so we're over with that. This looks like a super tight bull flag, and that's probably why it looks like it broke right out of it, right at the ending of the day, which is cool. I would say this, you know, it's still at 17, man. How high did this go? Okay, it went all the way to $26. Holy Toledo. For a SPAC that soon, that is insane. You know, put Billy Goat Gates on here, and I guess that's what happens. But, you know, of course, I'd like to get this closer to $15 for another entry point to recommend. You know, I don't know. I mean, it looks like it's ready to consolidate a little bit, but I definitely watch it. Even though it could be breaking this, it doesn't always mean it's going to go north. Most of the time it does, but you never know. You know, we definitely do have this gap down here, though, you know, around 14. You know, so if we could get back down there somehow, I'd probably be a buyer. I don't know, 1750 is probably still too high for me, right? For a re-entry. What do you think? Anyone still in here? Do you want to ride that whole wave up, or do you want to buy at the top, or do you want to buy at the bottom? Where y'all at on this? What do you guys think? I think 1750 is a little too high, maybe around 15-ish. It's just a psychological thing, you know. For most people, I could care less. As long as it's going to stay there, I could care less. But I think regardless, people are also going to want to wait to get it there, or people are going to put it there, you know, sell it off till it's there. We'll find out. So let's take a look at Trine. Y'all in Trine? This one's pretty rad. Found a neat line today. We're definitely sitting in this channel, you know. I like this where this is at too. I mean, it's not too high, right? It's sitting right at $12.50 for the all-time high, which makes sense, right? Tagged it twice, so that's the line we got to get to. But right now, it's just riding this channel, surfing this little. This more looks like a little tortilla chip there, huh? Sitting right in the tortilla chip. It's probably going to try to ride this up. If it does, just watch it. We got 12.54 to beat. If it crosses the red line at maybe like 11.50, it might be heading south again. But I don't know. I think this one might hold up pretty decent. This has got a lot of big names attached to it, a lot of car makers, you know, that are all about it. Volkswagen, Ford, and Chevy, and everybody's all about it. This is the metal printer one, right? I hope so. What's up with this? How'd this do? Workhorse. It's kind of just riding this channel around 23, 28. I'd like to see it keep moving. I still got some long calls going. You know, and we're sitting at the previous all-time highs. Are we sitting right there? Look at that. We're sitting like right at past all-time highs. We're riding right in the middle of it. That's why. So we're sitting at, you know, 23.20. We need to break all-time highs again in order to get to full bull. You know, you could probably wrap a channel below that. A little bit of support. I see that line. Yeah, that looks about right. Let's get rid of this one. Get that out of the way. Yeah, so as long as we look at that post, it's going up a little bit. As long as we stay above this red line that we just put in here and this one, you know, 22.05, around 22. As long as we stay around 22, I think we'll continue to bull. You know, obviously any sort of big news is going to come out. We'll still carry this to Jupiter, right? With USPS, whatever. That's still going to carry it up. I still like where's it at? Big C. So this is like a Shopify competitor. Come to find out, everyone was telling me, because last time I was saying I have no idea what this is. Look at that, we got another line it's sitting right on. I still like this entry point for sure. See how many times it's tagged it here? Go down a little bit. So yeah, I mean, we're sitting right in the middle of this bottom channel. this looks like a good buy. You got all-time highs that were hit like 3 weeks ago at 162. It had good earnings that came out, and it still just sold off down to it's sitting at 83. This one I might think about doing like a long-term call on it, because you never know with this market right now. It's still sketchy, still totally sketchy, but I think we definitely at least get back in this channel for sure, all the way up to $100, and I'm sure you could find some calls in between 83 and 100 that aren't too bad. So might look into that. Anyone else in there? Let's look at the SPACs, the SPY. This one here, did we get close to this surf red line we found? No. Not at all. We still got, I'm gonna guess like 2.5%, 2%. Yeah, still got about 2% till we hit that, and we got let's call 2.5% down for next week. So we're still sitting technically in an upward trend. Even though we still have this big sell-off, this is still not as bad as it was last month, and it still hasn't even crossed to the bull. It still hasn't even crossed the channel here. It sucks because it's affected. The rest of the market goes with it, right? So even the stuff that does good, like Big C or whatever, or even Costco, like went down. They're having amazing earnings coming out, and it's tanking. It's because the rest of the market's going down and people are scared. All right. Or was it because it hit the top of this channel, it's still just going down at the bottom of the channel? Which one is it? Let me know down in the comments. Is I just wrong? Yep. Okay. QQQ. So this one actually hit all-time lows for the past month. Yep, exactly. It's been exactly a month since it hit this low. We actually went a little bit lower today. Not good, but the good news is this is slightly giving us a bull flag. What do you think? Can we draw it? Can we wrap this baby up? Looks like we got a nice diagonal here. Bam. Wrap it right up in that nice burrito tortilla shell there. Yep, let's wrap one on the top of it. Keep it nice and warm. Oh, look at that. Oh, Nelly. So what does that look like? Super, it's that angle, man. What's that angle? It's like an A, right? That's a really downward, super straight downward looking bull flag. And the good news is we have this to go by now, right? So if we break out of this green line coming down, it's probably going to start heading back up. And the cool thing about it is that means we've got a lot of room to run up now to start tagging. See that? We need to break out of this. Let's get to the 1 day. Let's zoom in. Where we got a buddy here? So we need to get to like 273. Question still remains, is the whole market scared as a whole? I don't really think so. I just don't, the VIX, the volatility index is down 10% today. People are just like, whatever. They don't, I don't think they believe it. People are still selling off, and, for everything related to the SPY and the QQQ and all that, all the big cap stuff's pretty much sold off. All the big tech stuff has, but they're not that scared. The dollar's still kind of down, which is good. TLT, what? This is another thing people run to when they're scared. It was up 0.2% today. That's nothing, man. So I think this is kind of a bear trap, trying to trap the bears into thinking that the whole world's going to fall apart. But again, thanks to these lines, it's showing us that it looks like we're probably going to break to bull next week. And that's what I'm definitely hoping for. I have to keep watching this, obviously. And I'm still not saying go all in on anything. It's still protect yourself, because it is still sketchy. It still could just keep rolling straight down. And if you are super sketched about it, make sure and protect yourself. And you can get like an inverse QQQ or SPY or whatever. We've talked about those before. But are there any other plays that you guys want me to look at? Maybe even tomorrow or the next day we could take a look. get us ready for next week. If you haven't subscribed, please do it. It definitely helps out the channel. And please spread this, give this to your friends, whatever, email it to them, put it on Reddit or wherever you're at. Really appreciate it. Everyone have a good rest of the day. Y'all take care.